roles that campus safety is entrusted with is to protect you and the entire college community in the event that a fire should occur in your building. Hi, I'm Officer Jeff Draper from Campus Safety. I've devoted my entire career to keeping colleges safe. I've seen many fires, and I can tell you that a fire on a college campus isn't something you want to be involved in. To that end, it is very important that you pay close attention to this training video. Remember, fire can happen at any time, anywhere. It takes very little time to make a fire situation go from bad to worse. So, the information you'll be receiving today may save your life. This training video is required by the Fire Code of the State of New York. We'll be talking about and understanding the campus fire safety problems, just some of the basic safety and survival information, and what to do if an alarm goes off or in the event there's a fire, and some special considerations for persons with disabilities. Also, what faculty and staff should do in the event there's a fire alarm or a fire.
Hi, my name is Jim Flynn, and I'm the fire chief of the Onondaga Hill Fire Department. The fire department is an all-volunteer department that responds to over 1,000 alarms a year. Onondaga Community College is in our fire protection district, is in our primary response area.
Should a fire occur in your building, you need to be prepared. You need to identify the emergency exits. Participate in fire drills. Treat every fire drill as an actual fire. Fire drills ensure orderly exit and will help to ensure that you do not panic in the event of a real fire. Evacuation and fire alarm procedures. Fire alarm sounds and the strobes will activate. Feel the door for heat. If the door is hot, do not open it. Later we'll be discussing what to do if you cannot get out. And remember, once you start evacuating the building, you should go to the nearest safe exit. Proceed to the nearest outdoor assembly area as directed by campus safety or the fire department. Remember, do not use the elevators. In the event you use an elevator and there's a fire, you could be trapped.
One of the best things you can do is have an escape plan before there's a fire. When the fire alarm goes off, make sure you exit the building immediately. And have an escape plan. Know 2 ways out of the building you're in at all times. Know where those exits are. In the event you're not able to get out of the building, close the door behind you to prevent smoke from coming in.
The image that you are looking at is an example of the evacuation and fire alarm procedure. In your building, the evacuation and fire alarm procedures are posted on placards near the exits. If there is a fire or fire alarm, remember the acronym RACE. Remove yourself and others, if possible, from danger. Activate the alarm at one of the pull box stations. Confine the fire and close doors on your way out to stop fire and smoke from spreading. Evacuate quickly in an orderly manner. All buildings on campus do have pull box stations. In order to operate a pull box, what you need to do is lift the lever and pull down on the handle. This will send an alarm to campus safety. All buildings are protected with a computer-based central alarm system, which is located in campus safety. In addition to pull stations to report a fire, all buildings have smoke and heat detectors for early detection of a fire condition. In all buildings, localized alarms sound an audible tone and strobes flash for the hearing impaired. Response by campus safety and the fire department is immediate. All building alarms are inspected and serviced on a regular basis. The image that you're currently looking at is an emergency evacuation floor plan. Emergency evacuation floor plans are posted in most campus buildings. It is important that you familiarize yourself with the building layout and the evacuation plans for the building in which you work and those buildings you frequently visit. The solid line points to your primary exit. The dashed line points to your secondary exit. Once you're out of the building, your duty becomes accountability, both for yourself and others. Make the best effort to notice if anyone is missing from your office or your class. If people are missing, let the fire department or campus safety know who they are and their last location. Your vigilance here might save a life. Also, make sure that you do not re-enter the building until you are told to do so by campus safety or the fire department. The fire department may turn off the alarm. Remember, the alarm being turned off does not mean that the building is safe to re-enter.
Campus Safety has a variety of call boxes located throughout campus. This particular model has 2 buttons, one for emergency and one for information. In the event there is a fire and you evacuated the building, what you should do is look for one of these call boxes, go up to the call box, and press and hold the red button.
Please stand by. Your call has been sent.
Yes, there's a fire in the Whitney building. Please send officers. Campus Safety then will respond back and send officers and the fire department to your location.
In the event of a fire or fire alarm, the fire department is going to be responding. And it's important that you stay out of the way so that you don't get hurt and interfere with the operations of the fire department. It's important that you don't congregate in front of the buildings and interfere with the fire department or any of the equipment. It's also important that you stay away from the front of the building as well as any fire hydrants and fire apparatus that are operating. Fire equipment can be dangerous and heavy. Hoses under pressure have been known to kill if they rupture. So it's very important you stay clear of the fire apparatus, the firefighters, and the building that's involved.
In the event of a fire on campus, it is important to note you should not use the elevators. The best thing to do is plan ahead in the event of emergency. There are many areas of safe refuge in every building around the campus, clearly marked on campus maps. It is always the best practice to look at where those locations are ahead of time before an emergency. So in the event of an emergency, you know your closest area of safe refuge, which is often located near the staircase. There will also be a red campus safety emergency phone located nearby as well. Some staff, co-workers, students may feel they should stay behind with their colleague, co-worker, or other student out of concern. That is actually not what we want you to do. We want you to exit the building safely and immediately find the nearest campus safety officer and/or fire department official so that you can also inform them of where your friend is presently sitting and what their exit safety strategy need is so those trained staff can immediately intervene.
Fire department and campus safety work closely together to ensure your protection in the event of any fire or fire alarm. If you know anything, it's very important that you report it, either to campus safety or the fire department, so we can take the appropriate action. Information such as where the fire is located, what may be burning, and if anybody's in trouble, trapped, or needs assistance.
The main causes of fires are cooking, arson, smoking, candles and incense, and electricity. You may be thinking that electrical wiring within the walls is none of your concern. You may be correct. It's what well-meaning employees place outside the walls, in the offices, in the classrooms, in the workshops, in the hallways, that can cause a very serious problem.
For fire prevention, good housekeeping is critical. Good housekeeping habits are an important part of a safe workplace. Why is good housekeeping important? To reduce amount of flammable and combustible materials, to reduce ignition hazards, to ensure safe emergency evacuation of occupants, and to allow for quick emergency response. Good housekeeping guidelines that you should follow. Work areas, aisles, walkways, stairways, and equipment should be kept clear of loose materials, trash, scrap, etc. Never block aisles, fire exits, emergency equipment, or alarm pull station with equipment or materials. Avoid buildup of combustible trash and waste such as paper, wood, and cardboard. Keep use and storage of flammable and combustibles to a minimum. And remember, clean up all spills such as grease, oil, or water immediately. A delay could result in an accident. Electrical hazards are the cause of numerous workplace fires each year. Faulty electrical equipment or misuse of equipment produces heat and sparks that serve as ignition sources in the presence of flammable and combustible materials. Some examples of common ignition hazards are overload in circuits, use of unapproved electrical devices, or damaged or worn wiring.
I'd like now to show you a few examples of items you should not have on campus. First, we have a homemade extension cord. This is a small piece of wood with an outlet and a cord attached to it. This is just waiting to cause a fire. It is important to note that the college could be fined substantial amounts of money for violations such as this. Most importantly, this homemade extension cord could have led to a fire, injury, or death. Okay, so the homemade extension cord was pretty bad. You may be wondering, how can I top that? Take a look at this cord. This cord is all frayed. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Not only is risk of fire, but these exposed wires could cause electrical shock to anyone who touches them.
It is important to avoid the following improper and hazardous practices. Never use 3-prong adapters that allow a 3-prong plug to plug into a 2-prong outlet. Never use any item with a damaged or frayed electrical cord. Space heaters are not allowed in campus buildings. Never daisy chain or piggyback multi-plug strips in electrical cords.
The final items I'll show you are a common household multi-plug adapter and an extension cord. The extension cord also has a 3-prong adapter in it. They aren't in bad shape, but they're only allowed in certain circumstances for temporary use. You must be present while you are using an extension cord. If you need to use an extension cord for prolonged activities, you should switch to a surge protector, as it reduces the risk for fire substantially. When you leave an area, you must unplug any extension cords in use.
Surge protectors should only be used for office equipment such as computers, printers, and fax machines. Other common items such as microwave, refrigerators, and copy machines must be plugged directly into the wall outlet. Surge protectors should have a fuse or circuit breaker and be UL approved. No storage is allowed in the corridors and stairwells. A cluttered hallway could slow down an emergency evacuation. Storage must not exceed a plane of 18 inches below sprinkler heads or 2 feet from the ceiling in non-sprinklered areas. Storage that breaks this plane may prevent sprinkler heads from fully covering rooms during a fire. As you will see by this illustrated photo, this is a fire violation and against New York State Fire Code. All storage must be at least 3 feet from electrical panels. In some emergency situations, it will be necessary to access these panels quickly. Maintain at least 3 feet clearance from heating surfaces, air ducts, heaters, and lighting fixtures. Storage of combustible material in mechanical rooms is prohibited. As you can see by the diagram, this is also a fire hazard and a fire violation. This also demonstrates a fire violation. It is very important that a fire door is not left open because fire doors are designed to withstand fire, heat, and smoke for a period of 20 minutes to 3 hours and can save lives. Some of the reasons are for the safety of the building's occupants and its state law, and to reduce or prevent damage to property, research, personal belongings, etc. Each year, the New York State Fire Inspector comes to campus. You will receive an email similar to this one. When you receive the email, this will be a good opportunity for you to clean your area to avoid fire violations and to keep you safe. Flammable and combustible liquids are potential fuel sources for fires and are present in almost every workplace. It is actually the vapor created by flammable and combustible liquids that ignite and burns. It is important to understand what materials in your work area are flammable and combustible so that you may properly store and isolate them from ignition sources.
All employees need to be familiar with fire hazards and the effects of fire. However, that's not enough. Employees also need to be aware of the common hazards that are involved, just the general things going on around them. For instance, science professors need to be familiar with the chemicals and the processes that they're doing in their labs with the students. Office personnel have to be aware of, let's say, simple housekeeping. Maintenance personnel have to be cognizant of mixing chemicals or using the different fuel sources that they have. Most people are familiar with a fire and they understand that heat, flames, and smoke are given off, but what they don't understand is that there's a myriad of toxic gases given off also. And this is where the problem is. There might be carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, and just a small concentration of any of these gases could be fatal to humans. It's very important that when there's a fire, or even when the fire alarm goes off, that you take it very seriously and act without hesitation.
Key points that you want to remember before a fire occurs. You want to be familiar with the locations of the extinguishers, what types, and how to use them if necessary. In order for a fire to occur, you need oxygen, heat, fuel, and a chemical reaction will occur. The 5 major fuel types are Type A, normal combustibles, wood, paper, cloth, trash, and plastic. Type B is your flammable liquids, gasoline, oil, and grease. Type C is your energized electrical equipment. Type D is your metals, potassium, sodium, aluminum, and magnesium. Type K is your appliances that you would see in commercial kitchens. You will see the letters and or symbols on the front of the extinguishers. This is an air-pressured water extinguisher. As you can see, this extinguisher is a Class A extinguisher. On the front of the extinguisher, you will see the fuel type that the extinguisher can be used on. This is a carbon dioxide extinguisher. This can be used on the fuel types B and C. This eliminates the oxygen of the fire triangle. This is a dry chemical extinguisher. This type of extinguisher can be used on A, B, or C type fires. This also eliminates oxygen from the fire. Some may be designed for fuel types B and C only, so it is important you pay close attention to the label on the front of the extinguisher. This is a Class D extinguisher that is used for metals. This is a Class K extinguisher that you would find in commercial kitchens. When to fight the fire. Before attempting to use any extinguisher, assist any person in immediate danger to safety. If it can be done without further risk to yourself, activate the building alarm system and or notify the fire department by phone. Determine what is burning and make sure the proper extinguisher is available. The fire is small and contained. The proper extinguisher type is available. And you stay low and avoid breathing smoke. And only if you are trained and confident about using the fire extinguisher. How to use a portable fire extinguisher. Remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle. Sweep from side to side. Key points to remember. Take responsibility for fire prevention and your own safety. Know your escape routes. Nothing is blocking the exits. No illegal appliances, candles, or anything with an open flame. Once outside of the building, do not re-enter the building until you are told to do so by campus safety or the fire department. If you know or hear of anyone thinking of setting a fire, notify campus safety immediately. Take all alarms and fire safety seriously.